We are set for the WBC Lightweight Championship as Edwin Valero fights Antonio Demarco. Both fighters are southpaws, but with decidedly different styles and strategies. Here's Al Bernstein with more about tonight's two main event combatants.
You know, Gus, the question of who will win this championship match tonight may come down to which fighter resists certain dangerous temptations. Now, Edwin Valero, always the aggressor, has to forego the reckless style that sometimes he'll fall into. His power and the less than dangerous opposition he's fought has kind of fostered this. Antonio Demarco, capable of being the picture-perfect boxer-puncher, sometimes just can't resist a firefight, especially when he's been tagged by a big punch. Now, the genesis of this, of course, is his fiery competitiveness, but a brawl might not serve him well. Part of Demarco avoiding a slugfest is using his height advantage, not bending in to punch. Valero loves to push you against the ropes and pummel you there. Demarco has to stay in the center of the ring. The counter right hook could be a fight changer for Demarco. He throws this punch well. When Valero lunges in to throw his left, he will lower it, as Jose Alfaro did here. The right hook is the natural counter, and Demarco throws this punch with power and accuracy. He will want to use it tonight. As he attacks, Valero must throw jabs that really matter. If he lunges when he throws his lethal left hand, he'll be countered as we just demonstrated. And early in this fight, he has to find a way to swarm Demarco and take away distance and rhythm. Valero can simply overwhelm an opponent with a variety and quantity of punches from many angles and directions. 16 punches are thrown in this flurry. He must force Demarco to deal with this kind of pressure tonight. It could be the difference.
Festive atmosphere here in Monterey. A mariachi band playing as the challenger enters the ring. Antonio Demarco, 24 years old, fighting in his homeland and ready for the biggest test of his life. His handlers have moved him along quickly, and he's passed every test with flying colors. But tonight, he will have to fight his urges, as Al mentioned, and use his superior boxing skills, balance, footwork, and most of all, patience against the brawling world champion.
And you know, all this emotion for a young man who is in fact very emotional could push him to be more aggressive in the early rounds. But if you look at his demeanor as he walks in the ring, he looks like he's getting ready for a stroll in the park. He looks very relaxed.
And tonight, Demarco will be fighting in front of his father, who will see him fight live for the first time. His wife and daughter are both here. Oh, how beautiful. Tanya and Camila, his beautiful daughter in pink, watching from the side. Antonio Demarco from Los Mochis, Mexico. 550 miles from here. He moved to Tijuana when he was 14 years old to follow his dream of being a professional boxer, and his dream can come true with a win tonight. But it won't come easy. El Inca, the champion, Edwin Valero, has blazed a trail through the super featherweight and lightweight divisions, knocking out all comers in dramatic fashion, and he's done it with very little exposure from the American public for various reasons.
Yeah, and even other parts of the world. He had a bicycle accident in 2001 that created an abnormality in medical tests on his brain. So he was placed on a medical suspension list in New York in 2004, and he's not been licensed in the U.S. except recently in the state of Texas. He points out he's been licensed in 6 other countries, and he feels he can get licensed in the U.S. And add to that a DUI he had in Las Vegas that prevented a visa to the U.S. That's why we haven't seen much of this man, but he is an exciting fighter.
26 fights, 26 knockouts, 19 in the first round, 18 in a row to start his career in the first round.
He is this, as you look at all these great fighters with this great knockout percentage, 3 heavyweights, a middleweight, and a super welterweight on that list. And then there's that lightweight, Edwin Valero, with that 26-0 record. And you know, those first 18 that he had in the first round, the fact of the matter is they did come against fighters with at least a better than 500 record, and half of them came on the road. So they shouldn't be totally discounted. A little man with a big punch.
And this little man is now being compared to the great Manny Pacquiao. And tonight, for the first time in front of an international audience, he finally gets an opportunity to put his skills on display against the toughest opponent to date.
He has certainly not faced anyone as good as Antonio Demarco. Antonio Margarita, he'd be a little bigger for him. The fact is that DeMarco is the best fighter he has faced. And that's really an oxymoron, because DeMarco's the challenger, and yet DeMarco has fought twice as many rounds as a professional as Valero has.
And Edwin Valero's family here as well. Carolina, his beautiful wife, Edwin and Rosalind, his son and daughter.
They are among the very few in this crowd rooting for Edwin Valero, but they are certainly staunchly in his corner, and he's ready to go.
So we are ready for our main event from Arena Monterrey in Monterrey, Mexico. Valero, DeMarco.
And this tail of the tape, very important, because the height and reach advantage for Antonio Demarco will be vital. He needs to box and use his height and reach, and he needs to get through the first 3 rounds of this fight, because that's when Edwin Valero is dangerous.
And this is for the WBC lightweight title. And we normally don't show you the rules twice, but because they're so unique, we'll refer to them once again.
And here are the rules you're used to. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the ref can stop the fight. Can't be saved by the bell in any round. Then, in terms of a stoppage of the fight, for the end of round 4, if it's a clash of heads that causes a stoppage technical draw, after the end of the round 4, they would go to the scorecards. Now, the WBC rules that govern tonight's fights, the uninjured fighter in a clash of heads is automatically penalized, and all incomplete rounds after 4 must be scored. Open scoring, we saw that in the first fight. We'll find out who's winning after rounds 4 and 8, and instant replay can be used in the case of fouls.
We are ready now for the WBC Lightweight Championship. Edwin Valero against Antonio Demarco. For the formal introductions, let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, welcome to Monterrey, Mexico for the World Championship featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Gary Shaw Productions in association with Zanfer Promotions, Top Rank, MBM Entertainment, El Gobierno del Estado de Nuevo León, Vive Mexico, Corona, and Showtime. Esto es un campeonato mundial sancionada por el CMB, presidente José Sulaimán, supervisor Alberto Guerra. Introducing our judges at ringside, presentando a los jueces. Hall of Famer from California, Marty Denkin. Also from California, Steve Morrow. And from Texas, Oren Schellenberger. And our third man to the ring, our referee in charge, el referee es Lawrence Cole. Bien amigos, esta es la pelea estelar de la noche a 12 asaltos por el campeonato mundial del CMB peso ligero. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, en vivo desde Monterrey, México, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with red trim, he weighed in at 135 pounds. Presentando en la esquina azul, tiene un peso de 135 libras. His record 23 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, with 17 wins coming by way of knockout. Tiene un récord de 23 victorias, 1 derrota y 1 empate con 17 ganadas por knockout. Aquí está el campeón mundial interino del CMB peso ligero de Tijuana, Baja California, México. Here is the interim WBC lightweight champion of the world, introducing Antonio Demarco. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner on my right, wearing red trunks with blue and yellow trim. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 135 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, pesando 135 libras. This two-time world champion has established a remarkable record of 26 wins, no losses, with all 26 wins coming by way of knockout. Su récord, 26 victorias sin derrota, con todo de ellos por knockout. De Mérida, Venezuela, aquí está el campeón mundial 2 veces, el invicto campeón mundial absoluto del CMB peso ligero. Here is the undefeated WBC lightweight champion of the world, Edwin Dinamita Valero. And once again, our referee in charge, now to give instructions, Lawrence Cole.
How much Spanish I know. Neta. Edwin. Antonio. All right. Play limpia y buena suerte. Gracias. Mucha suerte, hijo. And then thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the classic story of the Matador versus the Bull. The Matador. Young Tony DeMarco has to use his technique, jab, stay outside, pick his shots, tie him up, and frustrate the champion. The Bull, Edwin Valero, wants to make it fast and furious from the start, throw the youngster out of his comfort zone, get inside, and unleash a blitzkrieg that the 24-year-old has never seen. And we begin. 2 southpaws.
Valero would love nothing better than at any point in this first round to push DeMarco against the ropes. You can see that's his goal as he continues to move forward. The jab is an important weapon for both men. Valero uses it mostly as a rangefinder. There's a beauty from DeMarco.
DeMarco, normally a slow starter.
Valero said he watched only 2 rounds of tape of DeMarco. DeMarco and his trainer, Romulo Quirarte, just the opposite. They watched what they could get their hands on of Valero, even though that's not much. Valero told us that he wasn't going to think about just swarming DeMarco early, that he'd rather just take his time and do what he needed to do, and the big punches would come.
I saw Valero in the elevator in the hotel. He doesn't speak very much English, nor I do Spanish, but he looked at me, he threw a right hand, and he said, I'm a machine. I end it quickly with the right hand.
He saw me in the elevator, did the same thing and used an expletive to add to that.
And already some blood on the face of Valero.
Underneath the eye on the cheekbone. What? I guess that came from a punch. I don't know.
May have come from that stiff jab delivered by DeMarco at the very beginning.
And that's what Valero wants to do when he gets DeMarco on the ropes, throw a lot of punches. Valero has the mentality of a puncher. He thinks if he hits you, you are going to get hurt and ultimately you're going to go. And that's the mentality, as that's the way he proceeds in fights.
DeMarco is a very accurate puncher, folks. He's a converted right-hand puncher. Decided to turn southpaw when he watched his uncle, a former prize fighter, who was a southpaw fighter. So he has a lot of strength in the right jab and the right hook, and he'll go under and over with it.
There's the first good left hand from Valero. Let's see what it did to DeMarco. He landed a really good one.
And a cut on the right cheek of Valero. Also a rags to riches story. Father left when he was 7 years old. He worked selling fruit at a fruit stand. As he searched for work, he found a job working at, of all places, a gym. And he ended up becoming a national champion in his homeland of Venezuela. And that's the end of the first round.
Okay, it's very simple. It's just a little cut. It's no big deal. It's nothing. It is nothing. Nothing.
Tranquilo, no se me desespere. Okay?
DeMarco landed this punch that we believe caused the cut. That was the really good jab that we believe caused the cut on the cheekbone of Edwin Valero. The jab was a very effective weapon for DeMarco on that one, and that's where he wiped the blood. But Valero was able to land a telling straight left hand. That second one was the good punch. DeMarco was able to take it very, very well.
Round two scheduled for 12 for the WBC lightweight title. Edwin Valero, the champion, in red. Antonio, the Kid DeMarco, in black.
The DeMarco people believe that if they can take this fight into the 5th or 6th or 7th round, they'll do well. Although we should say that Valero has won his recent fights in that same time frame with stoppages. That's where DeMarco doesn't want to be against the ropes, and he motors off it.
DeMarco's people telling us that they want to keep this fight in the center of the ring. There's a left hand by Valero grazing the head, but look how peaceful, how tranquil Antonio DeMarco is. Very relaxed to start this fight.
He is. The one mistake he's making, and Valero's taking advantage of it, is he's bending down a bit, and Valero's starting to land some of those straight left hands. As when DeMarco bends in, that's a big mistake, and Valero's got the power with that straight left. He's just like a freight train with that left hand. He's always got an eye toward throwing it.
I'll say it again, DeMarco a slow starter. He'll pick his shots, but he really turns his punches over, and sometimes they come out of nowhere.
You know, Valero's throwing some good combinations. That was a great jab by DeMarco. Valero is a good combination puncher when he employs that, and he's doing it in spots here tonight.
Valero with both hands down. Valero saying that he caught an elbow. Now he's got a gash over his right head.
Yeah, that didn't come from a punch. I guarantee you that.
Don't forget another doctor, I'm gonna see.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a major punch.
Yeah, there's no way a punch caused that.
Doctor, where's the doctor? Take a look at it. Doctor.
Juan Francisco Arenas is the ringside doctor, and that is ugly. He may not be able to continue. No, whoa, look at that gut.
Yeah.
Okay. Stay there.
results in a point deduction from the uninjured fighter. So a point was taken away from DeMarco. Would have been 2 points had it been intentional. But boy, that's a big gash.
Wow, blood pouring down the side of his face and all the way down to his trunks. We will see now what the champion Edwin Valero is made of. And he comes out, and it's time to brawl.
But remember, if this fight were stopped before round 4 because of that cut, it would be a technical draw. So if Valero thinks he's got to try and end this fight quickly, that's not the case. After round 4, they would go to the scorecards.
Remind you of when Marvin Hagler saw his blood against Tommy Hearns. He turned out to be another human being.
He did indeed, and the difference is that came from a punch.
DeMarco trying to remain patient. But there is an awfully big target on the face, and a mouthpiece now gone. Valero loses his mouthpiece. DeMarco, he wants to fight his urge of being a brawler.
Here comes Valero. It's interesting. That was an intriguing round. It's not over yet.
6 seconds ago, the second.
Bueno. Come in.
And that's the end of the round. Wow.
Relajadito, mijo, no se me desespere. Está haciendo bien las cosas.
You're getting a little desperate. You're getting a little desperate because of the cut. You just keep coming in, but don't get desperate.
Sigue igual, trabajando igual.
Here is where the elbow of Antonio Demarco, the left elbow, will come around and hit the forehead. The right hand was there, and there comes the elbow. There's no question that's what created the cut on the forehead of Edwin Valero. Wow, that's a rough one. But the interesting thing is that later on in the round, Valero would lose his mouthpiece and have to fight a long time. That left hand got there. He'd have to fight a long time without the mouthpiece. But another little mini drama going on is I believe there's also a cut just over the eye of Valero, and that one could be more dangerous over the right eye. That's the kind of cut that could have a fight stopped. So he's got some issues to deal with.
DeMarco, very patient. He told us that that's what he wanted to do, use his boxing skills, move around, establish that jab. Also in the first round, some blood coming out of the nose of Valero, which is a sign that the jab was landing for DeMarco.
You know, if not for all these cuts, the interesting thing is I think Valero might have won those first 2 rounds. So for him, it's going kind of the way he wants. And yet, you can make the case for DeMarco. He just wants to get out of these first 3 rounds, and he has landed some meaningful punches. There's no question about that. Oh, big left hand by Valero. DeMarco's taking those left hands very, very well.
Valero winding up on his punches.
You can feel Antonio Demarco, though, as this fight wears on, wanting to engage just a little more. And he is landing some very good punches, but taking lefts from Valero as well.
DeMarco also with a very good chin. We've seen him in some fights recently, especially his last 3. When he fought Kid Diamond Ramkulov, he showed some tremendous boxing skills against a slick veteran and very skilled fighter. Got him out of there as well.
The interesting thing is that Valero has landed some very good lefts, and so far they have not stunned or hurt DeMarco. There's another one. And one of the big issues about Valero coming into this fight, because he hadn't really fought, there's another good left hand, he hadn't fought great opposition. Was he a great knockout puncher, or were those fighters just susceptible? His last 3 fighters, by the way, are ages 34, 36, and 39, Valero's opponents. So we'll see if his power is sustained. So far, DeMarco has taken those left hands, but DeMarco may have lost 3 rounds.
And because he's knocked so many opponents out early, Valero has not gone into deep waters very many times. He's never gone 12 rounds. He's gone 10 rounds once, 8 rounds once, 7 rounds once. And DeMarco getting an opportunity in the first 3 to feel the power of Valero. And just looking at him in the ring right now, you get the feeling that he's saying, not as much as I thought. Blood still coming out of the gash on the right eye of the champion. Edwin Valero in red. And that is the end of the round. For a report, let's go to Steve Farhood in Valero's corner.
All right, Gus, to reconfirm, the referee correctly ruled that it was an unintentional foul. According to WBC rules, DeMarco lost a point. I went to the corner, and Mario Morales, who is the trainer and cut man of Valero, told me there is absolutely no way he could stop the bleeding. Back to you.
All right, so an obstacle, the first major obstacle in the career of WBC lightweight champion Edwin Valero.
And remember, if we conclude this 4th round, this fight will go to the scorecards. Now, I'll tell you something. I've got Valero winning every round in this fight. Judges may see it differently.
And we will see very soon, even though Valero cut up. DeMarco, as we mentioned at the top of our broadcast, concerned with getting through the first 3 because Valero has knocked so many people out early. 18 straight at the beginning of his career in the first round, 19 overall in the first round. And now we go to round 4. Expect to see DeMarco start to pick up the pace.
And you know, one of the things Edwin Valero's done better than I think some might expect, when you watch him on tape, sometimes you don't see all the skills. He's not a bad defensive fighter, and I'm going to tell you something else. He punches in combination better than you even think.
But I will say this, he keeps his hands awfully low, Al.
He does.
Look at his hands, and he keeps his hands low in punching range. Nice stiff jab by DeMarco.
DeMarco landed a very nice punch there, but the volume of punches coming from Valero, and it is true, DeMarco normally picks the pace up in rounds 4 and 5, and we'll see if he does.
Matador versus the Bull, and so far the Bull has been able to throw combination punches in Valero. As Al mentioned, looks like he does have the lead thus far.
And that's our unofficial view. The judges may see it differently, but he's certainly been more active. He's landed more shots, probably more power shots. Singular punches from DeMarco look good. There's big shots by Valero.
DeMarco almost buckled, saved by the ropes. Now some redness on the forehead of DeMarco. You don't know if it's Valero's blood or not.
And this is usually when Antonio Demarco gets into a firefight. And look, he's coming forward. When he's hurt is when he goes after his opponent. This is a big round for Edwin Valero. And give Valero credit. He's fighting with a monstrous gash on his forehead and a slight cut on his right eye.
DeMarco eating that jab. Another combination landing for Valero. But the question is, what kind of gas does the champion have in his tank when you consider that he has not gone into deep waters very many times? And DeMarco gets better as the fight goes on.
That is the question right now.
And that is the strategy.
But I don't think DeMarco wanted to take this many power punches at this point in the fight, especially not like he did here in round 4.
Do you think he's been hurt, though, Al?
I don't know if he's been hurt, Gus. It's hard to tell. But I think he felt the power of Valero.
I don't think Valero has hurt him a bit. I think he's walked through it, in my opinion, Al, and he's setting him up to make a serious run as this fight goes on. There's a left hand.
levanta la vista. ¿Por qué estás dejando la pelea para ese lado?
Okay, look up now.
Realmente lo siento muy pesado. No quiere ganar la pelea. Voltea a verme.
Okay.
¿Quiere ganar la pelea o quiere perder?
You want to win or lose?
Ganar.
You want to win.
Trabajando para ganarla.
You have to work to win this fight.
El gancho no sale.
The jab is not working, so then try the other one. See, he's tired. His mouth is open. It's 1, 2, 3, the combination. Okay.
Antonio Demarco early on in the round would get that strong jab in, though he did take a left hand over it in the process, and Valero getting a couple of shots in. Valero, though, had very good moments in this round, and you see how well he uses his jab to set up these power punches. Now, but DeMarco was able to take those shots and the other big power punches as well.
All right, Romulo Chiarte, the trainer for DeMarco, made a very interesting point. At the end of the round, you saw Valero's mouth wide open. And according to the veteran trainer, that means he's tired already, and we're in the 5th round.
And they're banking on that. They feel these middle rounds, and as we get into the later rounds, will be good for them. Now we have to see if that's the case. Karate, of course, a great trainer, worked with Julio Cesar Chavez, worked with Raul Ibarro Perez, who happens to be the father-in-law, interestingly, of Antonio Demarco, former bantamweight champion.
And let's take a look at the official judges' scoring.
As we anticipated, a big edge for Valero. 2 judges with it 39-36, and Oren Schellenberger has it 40-35, so they have a pretty big margin. And remember, a point was deducted. Now here, the rest row, which has made the scoring a lot closer all night. 2 for Valero, and Mark Walsh from AP has it a draw, interestingly. I have every round for Valero.
Valero's mouth open again.
So, I have it 40-35.
Now DeMarco starting to stand in the center of the ring and exchange.
And these are the rounds where what you talked about, Gus, we will see if it is so. If Antonio Demarco, as they clearly told us before the fight, would be able to control these rounds. But as Karate told him, he's going to have to be more active with his punching, or else he won't make Valero more tired and he won't win the fight.
The crowd being informed of the scoring as we speak. Both fighters, Spanish fighters, understanding, probably hearing the scoring as it goes on, as they go toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring.
Break, break! And interestingly, not a lot of booing. I think they understand Antonio Demarco hasn't won many, if any, of these rounds.
Oh, nice left hand by Valero as he turned it over.
I'm sorry, Jess. That left hand by Valero was a strong one. That was one of the better ones he's thrown in this fight. Now, to DeMarco's credit, and this speaks to what you talked about, he has not buckled from those punches.
Round 5 scheduled for 12, the WBC lightweight title. Edwin Valero, the champion, who moved up from 130 to 135 pounds, was a super featherweight champion as well. And he is in the red. Antonio Demarco in the black trunks. Now DeMarco coming in. He's rolling that left hand. He has to be careful. Time! And don't forget, join James Brown, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, and Warren Sapp for the Season 2 finale of Inside the NFL next Wednesday, February 10th at 9 p.m.
In the center of the ring, and we see this fight waged in that part of the ring. That's where DeMarco wanted to be, but Valero pushed him back nonetheless and pushes him right to the ropes and lands the right hook and would land a good straight left hand a little bit later after that. So you can see that Valero, while he may be in the center of the ring, is pushing his man back.
They're not going to stop the fight. Okay. If they do stop it, we'll win, but you got to keep going.
Round 6, scheduled for 12 for the WBC lightweight title. Edwin Valero, the champion in red. Antonio Demarco, the young #1 contender in black. And so far it's Valero, according to the judges, who is running away with this fight. We are experiencing open scoring this evening.
And you heard the corner Valero say, keep going, but if it is stopped, you're going to win. Because they know if it's stopped, it'll be because of the accidental elbow.
The accidental head elbow taking place in the second round on the right side of Valero's head.
You know, Edwin Valero really does remind me of the younger version of Manny Pacquiao. Before Pacquiao became such a superb boxer puncher, he fought this way. Jab, jab, straight left hand. A little bit of head movement. Take a punch here and there and push your fighter back. And there's the left hand again. He is like a mini version. Right now he's a mini version. He's a bigger version when Pacquiao fought this way of Manny Pacquiao. And there's the straight left again by Valero. And Valero does some things that you don't notice. He jabs to the body. He feints. He's a more complete fighter than I thought when I watched the tape. And here comes DeMarco. Break, break. DeMarco's going to have to get a little more aggressive at some point in this fight. Take the chance. Valero has been down once in his career. He was put down as a junior lightweight, but he's certainly never been stopped. And again, another left hand bouncing off the head.
Very nice right hook by DeMarco, and that got Valero's attention. Now DeMarco gaining a little confidence
and making Valero
ties him up.
Yeah.
And that is a sign.
Valero felt that punch. He felt the right hook and the straight left hand of DeMarco. Those are the first good body shots landed in a long time by either fighter.
DeMarco has to get to the point where he really starts to let his hands go. And that's the question sometimes when a trainer, Romulo Chiarte, wants to make sure that his fighter fights technically, but at the same time, you sometimes take away some of his raw and natural instincts. For DeMarco, he doesn't want to wait too late.
Well, he's dug a monstrous hole for himself. This round has been won by Valero as well, despite the two good punches that DeMarco landed. Valero has dominated the round.
Time.
You got to give him a school in boxing. He's running to the laterals. That's what he's moving. He's moving lateral. You do it. He's a little fish. He's a little fish.
Edwin Valero landing yet another straight left hand, although DeMarco countered it very well with a right hook. And that's what DeMarco really wants to do. And that right hook, which we talked about in the keys to victory, will get in for DeMarco. That's his best punch, and he lands it there. He also would follow with a straight left. DeMarco's got to find a way to land that hook more often, and he has got to start getting going here because he is way behind in this fight.
Round 7, scheduled for 12 for the WBC lightweight title. Edwin Valero, the champion, running away with it right now in red. Antonio Demarco, the challenger, has to start letting his hands go. He's going backwards. He needs to start moving forward. Valero finding him again with that short, looping left hand. He told me during our meeting that his right hand is stronger.
And you know, Valero's doing all the little things in this fight. Doubling with the jab, feinting to the body, throwing combinations, all the things that not everybody thought he would do throughout a fight against a good fighter. That's exactly what he's doing. So that's why he's winning every single one of these rounds, or most of them.
Right now, DeMarco looking like just an ABC fighter. No special effects, no urgency.
That's a very good way to put it, yeah. Kind of generic, if you will. Yeah, and you know, we've seen him perform very well, but again, oh, nice hook by DeMarco. That's what he's got to land. But again, we have not seen him against this caliber of fighter.
Valero continuing to come in, setting him up. He wants a knockout. He wants to show the American public that he's a future superstar in this weight class. And double left hook by Valero, the champion, starting to open it up a bit now.
But you know what was the most impressive thing about that? After he landed all those punches, he stepped back to make DeMarco miss. And that's what we don't know that he can do against a good fighter, and he's doing it.
Early in his career, Valero was known as a fighter that had incredible boxing skills, not just a brawler. They said he was like water with his hand speed and also with his footwork. He told us in our meeting yesterday that he can do that if need be, and we've seen him do it this evening.
Absolutely, Gus. I didn't see it on the tapes. You see it tonight. There's all the subtleties. He's still not the greatest defensive fighter on the planet and can't be hit, but it's hard to hit a guy when he throws an 8-punch combination like that, and they're pretty accurate.
And nothing in return from Antonio Demarco. You wonder if he's confused, because Valero throws a lot of punches from weird angles. Demarco missing. Oh, look at the quickness and the slickness of Edwin Valero. He's showing that he's a boxer. Round 7 coming to an end.
Time!
And Valero going back to his corner, and there his family, Carolina, and the kids. Daddy's doing good work tonight. Although Carolina, with the look of concern on her face.
This is a sparring for you. This is your fight right now, but you got to watch out. You got to watch out for a knockout. Got to watch out for.
Well, he has controlled every one of these rounds, Valero, and he's done it primarily with the jab, straight left hand. But as Gus pointed out, he also has thrown some wider punches like those left hands he threw and the right hooks. Setting things up with the jab, but here, that overhand left. And that's what I love about Edwin Valero tonight. He got away before DeMarco could hit him with the punch. So we're seeing nuances from Valero that are surprising.
Round 8, scheduled for 12 for the WBC lightweight title. The international debut of champion Edwin Valero in the red trunks. He's fought in Japan, he's fought in Venezuela, he's fought in Mexico, he's fought a few times in the United States, but never in front of big audiences, and he knows that this is his opportunity to show America especially what he can do, and he's been doing it.
He really has. You know, we talk about DeMarco potentially having the advantage later in the fight, and DeMarco coming on in this round. But we have to point out that Valero, when he won the super featherweight title in 2006 from Vincent Mascara, dominated rounds 6, 7, and 8, and 9, and knocked him out in the 10th. Now this, oh my, what a left hand by Valero. So Valero does know what it's like to control the latter part of a fight and win it. But in this round, DeMarco's come out with conviction, but for his trouble, took a big left hand. And that's the danger for DeMarco. When you come forward, you might walk into one of those straight lefts like he did.
Valero, very effective tonight with that step back after he delivers his combination. And he's also, because of his slick fighting, taken the crowd out of this fight. Oh, mean left hand. There's another one. Now Valero starting to pick apart the 24-year-old DeMarco. DeMarco landing a right hook.
DeMarco needs to turn this around with a monstrous right hook, and that'll be what does it if he can. And that's what he needs right now very badly.
And like Manny Pacquiao, though, Valero throwing so many punches in combination from different angles. from different hand placement.
You know, I said he was the old Manny Pacquiao.
Right.
He's a little more straightforward, one-dimensional.
Exactly.
But he's actually a combination of the old and new Manny Pacquiao because he's throwing, although certainly he's not as good a fighter as Pacquiao right now. No one is. Maybe Floyd Mayweather. But the fact of the matter is, he is showing all those nuances.
Maybe Floyd Mayweather?
Well, or potentially.
No doubt.
Well, that's the big debate, isn't it?
Manny Pacquiao is as good as Floyd Mayweather. That's my contention.
Okay, there you go.
Floyd has never lost.
I have great respect for Floyd. He's a terrific fighter. He hasn't been as active as Pacquiao.
8 rounds scheduled for 12. 17 seconds to go. Ooh, low blow by DeMarco. He's getting wild now. He is taking a beating in there. Although it looks like Valero is the fighter that is actually taking the beating, but he is too slick.
You gotta keep your head up. What do you want? Open up the mouth. Keep your head up. Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling sick? How are you feeling? What do you want to do? Keep your head up. What do you want to do? Breathe deep, breathe deep. Let's see. We came here to win. Are you feeling okay? Yes, I'm feeling good.
Excellent.
Tony DeMarco in a lot of trouble now, folks. Let's see if Valero can sense it. Let's take a look at the scoring from the judges.
You see every judge with a 79-72 score. I have an 80-71, but clearly Valero with a big margin. Our press row scoring with it much closer for Valero. Alfonso Rinaldo's from the paper here in Mexico. Philippe Leon from Fight News, and Mark Walsh from AP with it a little closer for Valero.
Valero now moving in. He told us that he wouldn't go looking for the knockout, but he wants it.
And this is a point in the fight, though, where even though DeMarco had the look of a really beaten fighter in that corner, for Valero, there's still danger to get hit with a right hook, but he is landing big shots.
DeMarco eating shot after shot. That left hand is vicious. Now he goes to the body, comes over to the top, barely misses with the left hand.
If this round goes really badly for Antonio Demarco, Romulo Quirarte, who is as close as you can be to a fighter and maybe like a second father to DeMarco, might think about ending this thing.
I agree with you 100%. Quirarte kept asking Tony what he wanted to do, how he felt, no answer. Most of the time during that 1-minute break.
And there was talk in DeMarco's corner that if he didn't get busier, they were going to stop the fight. Nice straight left hand by DeMarco, but it's one and done when he throws punches.
Valero, so slick.
And I think we need to put to rest the idea that Valero can't fight in the later rounds, as he did against Mascaro when he dominated 6, 7, 8, and 9. That's what he's done in this fight.
Ooh, another good combination by Valero. Ooh, 1-2 stiff as he steps off. Dips in, dips out. Great head movement. Chopping up the younger DeMarco. No answers for DeMarco right now. Knows that he's trailing the fight and he won't move forward.
DeMarco and his people, monstrous left by Valero. They asked for Valero. They wanted to fight him. They thought the style of DeMarco would lend itself to beating Valero. Like a lot of other people, I think they underestimated some of the skills of Valero.
7 seconds to go in the 9th round, scheduled for 12. Now Tony DeMarco, mouth open, tired. A beaten man as he slowly walks back to his corner.
Is that it? Is that it? That's it. We're not going to go anymore. That's it.
That's it, folks. Tony DeMarco retiring on a stool. The champion continues to reign. Edwin Valero, another successful title defense as he stops young Tony DeMarco and retains his WBC lightweight title.
A very disappointing loss for this 24-year-old. Not the end of his boxing career by any stretch of the imagination, but for this man, he made a marketing statement tonight to tell the world, you haven't seen me, here I am. I am someone to be reckoned with in the lightweight division, and boy is he ever.
27-0. 27 consecutive stoppages as Tony DeMarco retires on his stool, unable to come out for round 10. And Al, you said it. If he wouldn't have performed well in that 9th round, you knew that they were going to stop this fight. As you take a look once again at the beautiful family of the champion, Edwin Valero.
And Carolina, cautiously happy it seems there. She watches what goes on. But exactly, they did stop the fight, and I think appropriately so.
Too much experience, too much talent and skill tonight as Edwin Valero basically give Tony DeMarco a good old-fashioned whooping in the ring. Really showing why he is the world champion and considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world.
And as you look at him, remember, as you look at that gash, here's a guy that got hit with an elbow early in the fight, had a terrible gash, a little cut on his right eye, and went through all that adversity to reclaim his concentration and continue to control the fight. So that also speaks volumes about what Valero did here tonight. This 28-year-old showed us not only better skills, but amazing grit and determination.
He's got a great personality as well as he takes a look at that cut. We go all the way back to round 2. The elbow as DeMarco scrapes him on the top of his head.
This was a moment when it looked like this fight could turn, because this unintentional elbow, we assume unintentional, that was the way it was called, hit Valero on the forehead and caused that terrible gash. At that juncture, and he was making sure Lawrence Cole knew it was an elbow, though any look at that cut would tell you on the forehead it had to be caused by something other than a cut. Valero, though, kept his concentration and came back and landed big punches to show DeMarco that that had not taken him out of his game plan and that Valero was going to continue the assault. Great mental discipline by Valero. That's the kind of thing that could take you out of a fight.
And what was very interesting is the two gentlemen congratulate each other. Great fight. DeMarco, 24, learning a lot, facing his best competition as he apologizes for the elbow. The thing about Valero, though, as we go inside, we'll table that for a moment. We'll go inside. Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of round number 9, a referee in charge, Lawrence Cole, stops the contest upon suggestion of the corner. Después de round número 9, la esquina paró la pelea. El ganador por knockout técnico. He is the winner by way of technical knockout. Still undefeated and still the WBC lightweight champion of the world, Edwin Dinamita Valero.
Guys, step out.
So Edwin Valero does it again, and I think what was more impressive than anything, he did it not as a brawler, he did it as a supreme boxer tonight.
You're absolutely right, Gus. He showed obviously the punching power we knew he had, but it was combinations, pretty good defense, maybe more than pretty good, and body punches that did it for him. As we look back, the judges with it 89-81, all uniform in the way they saw this match. I saw it much the same. Everyone among the official scoring believing that at the time of the stoppage, that is, those scores were in existence.
And press row scoring.
Press row scoring a lot closer, but still a pretty big edge for Valero. The biggest edge, Mark Walsh from AP. Philippe Leon next from Fight News.
And inside the ring with the champion is our Steve Farhood.
Okay, Felix De Jesus will translate. Edwin, there was a lot of mutual respect shown between you and Antonio at the end of the fight. What did you say to each other?
Después de la pelea había mucho respeto entre ustedes dos. ¿Qué se dijeron?
Bueno, él me dijo que yo soy un gran campeón y que soy un peleador muy fuerte y que siempre me respetó, al igual que yo.
He told me that he told him that he was a great champion and that he always respected him and that he's a strong fighter.
We were very impressed with Edwin tonight. Does he feel he's ever fought better?
Muy impresionante hoy con la pelea. ¿Tú has peleado mejor en otras peleas?
No, definitivamente no.
No, definitely no. This has been his best fight.
Tell us what happened in the second round and how he reacted. It seemed to me, at least, that the blood spurred him on to show a little more energy. He was more animated after the elbow opened the cut.
¿Qué pasó en el segundo asalto? Como hubo más reacción, como que comenzaste a pelear mucho más.
Porque siempre se empieza de menos a más. Ya la experiencia que tengo ya me he aprendido a que no puedo salir muy apresurado en los primeros asaltos. Y eso quedó cuando peleaba 4 y 6 asaltos. Ya ahora estoy peleando con peleadores de cartel.
Yeah, the experience now tells me that I can't be going after fighters that way. 4 or 6 rounds. That I got to pace myself and then keep going.
In terms of what Edwin told the American people with his performance tonight, he wanted to be explosive. What message does he feel he sent to the viewers who saw him for the first time?
¿Qué mensaje tú le das al público americano que te ha visto pelear por la primera vez?
Bueno, les digo que nació una nueva estrella, voy ascendiendo, voy en ascenso. Sé que me falta mucho por aprender, pero aquí hay un peleador que brinda espectáculo y sé que a la fanaticada exigente mexicana y a la mexicana anglosajona y al mundo entero le va a gustar mi estilo de pelear y por eso les digo que estén al pendiente de Edwin Valero.
The entire world is seeing a fighter that's ascending now, and that they're going to be happy by the way he fights and what he demonstrated tonight.
Thank you, Edwin. Another stoppage win, Gus.
All right, thank you very much, Steve Farhood. And what a night of boxing, especially in our main event, as Edwin Valero remains undefeated with a textbook, classic whooping of DeMarco, and he really showed all those great boxing skills.
And in a division that features so many great veteran fighters, you can imagine all kinds of matchups for him.
Antonio Demarco, 24 years old, still with a lot to learn and a bright future, and he's standing inside the ring with Steve Farhood.
Antonio, it looked like Romulo, your trainer, stopped the fight. How did you feel when he did that?
Viste que Rómulo paró la pelea. ¿Cómo te sentiste cuando él la paró?
Como todo mexicano, yo no quería. Yo quería seguir. Rómulo, aparte de que es mi entrenador, es familia mía. No quiso ver que me castigaran más. No fue mi noche, salí en una mala noche. Pero no le quita eso a Edwin Valero, que es un gran campeón del mundo. Y un placer pelear con él y perder de esta manera, con la cabeza en alto.
He was saying that Romulo is not only his trainer, but it's family, basically. And he saw the punishment that he was taking. As a Mexican fighter, he never wanted to quit, but Romulo saw that Edwin was just a better fighter.
Throughout the fight, Edwin had more energy, was more aggressive. You know the left hand is coming. Why does he continue to land it?
¿Por qué sigue tirando Edwin esa izquierda? Tú lo veías que tenía mucho más fuerza durante la pelea.
Me sentía, la verdad, me sentía más fuerte que él. Pero como lo repito, no fue mi noche y mi cuerpo no sé por qué no me respondió y no me daba.
His body did not respond today. He basically felt as a stronger fighter today than Edwin, but the body just did not respond today. It wasn't his night.
All right, thank you, Antonio. Let's go back to Gus.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. And Edwin Valero, the champion, Another successful title defense of his WBC lightweight belt.
He stamped himself a fighter to watch, a champion with all kinds of possibilities in the division, and includes the likes of Juan Manuel Marquez, Ali Fanica, Marco Antonio Barrera, Joel Casamar, and others. Lots of matchups out there for this man.
Second successful defense for Valero. And don't forget, coming up in March, the Super 6 World Boxing Classic continues with the first fight of Group Stage 2. Andre Durrell looks for his first win of the tournament against Super 6 points leader King Arthur Abraham. We'll have that fight Saturday, March 6th at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. For more information about the Super 6 World Boxing Classic as well as all upcoming Showtime sports events, we invite you to visit our website at sports.show.com. That's sports.show.com. Now recapping our results from tonight. Carlos Abregu survived the second round knockdown and scored a third round knockdown of his own on his way to a lopsided decision over Richard Gutierrez to remain undefeated. And in our main event for the WBC lightweight title, the champion Edwin Valero scores a end of the 9th round TKO, improves his record to 27-0. 27 KOs as he makes a major splash in front of an American audience. For Al Bernstein, Steve Farhood, and our entire Showtime crew, I'm Gus Johnson saying so long from Monterrey, Mexico. Good night, everyone.